Okay, let's go over a couple of these. I actually did this and included your answer to this, but there's kind of a couple pieces that you're missing, and it's kind of the same reason I sent back some of the other answers that I did before. So the directions to this say to write in point slope form. So that means that you are going to use this form when you get there. Okay. And it says for the given line that passes through the points of 0, 3, and 4, 0. It says include your work in your final answer. So you actually have to show the work of how you're plugging this in. So first of all, to be able to do this, the number one thing that we have to do is to start by finding the slope. So you actually have to show what you're doing to actually find that. So if my point is 0, 3, and 4, 0, it doesn't matter the order that you go in, but what we're going to have to do is kind of get the y's organized in the top. So in the top, I could do 0 minus 3. Be negative 3. And on the bottom, it's going to be 4 minus 0, which is 4. Now, I'm not disputing that you said that answer up there. But if you don't show your work for it, I can't give you the points for solving the problem. So part of the issue on some of these is just not simply having the work there so I can follow your train of thought to know that that's what you're trying to show. The other piece to this is that when you're plugging it in, there are some pieces that you're forgetting. So on this one, when I start with this form here, and I'm going to plug it in, if I take the point of 0, 3, I'm not disagreeing that y is 3. So let me change color just so you can see this. There's my 3 if I'm going to use this point. My x value is 0. So that goes in here. And my slope is 3/4. Or negative 3/4. Now the only problem is if I subtract 0 from something, that doesn't change its value. So that means for this one, you should end up with this. Because if it's minus 0, you're going to end up dropping that piece. Okay, now one version of the answer would look like this. Now on yours, you can still see you have the minus 0. It's not in the most simplified form. And it doesn't have the work to show me how you got there. So both of those things are things that need to be shown on this. Now you can either write it in the box, type it step by step. You could solve it on a piece of paper, take a picture of it and upload it. I would probably do that because I think it's easier than typing it in. But all of those are things that have to be done on the open-ended ones. So if it says include your work in your final answer, it won't get graded at all unless that's there. Okay, now here's another one. It says write the equation of the line in point slope form, identifying x sub 1 and y sub 1 as the point negative 2, negative 1. So this is the point that I'm going to have to use. And I'm going to completely say we're going to use the same formula that we used in the last one. Okay? Now it says use the box provided or upload options to submit all your calculations of final answers. So again, this part right there is telling that you need to show your work. Okay, so let's start first of all by getting our slope. So I have this point, and I have this point, and I'm going to have to go through and set up my problem. Okay, so if I do y's, 1 minus a negative 1, so 2 negatives make a positive. So 1 plus 1 is 2 on the top. On the bottom, 2 minus a negative 2. 2 negatives make a positive. So 2 plus 2 is 4 and reduces down to 1/2. Now again, I'm not disputing that's what you have up here, but you don't have any work to back that up. Okay, so here is my slope, and they told us up here I've got to use this point. So I'm going to start out with my equation. Okay, let me change color one more time just so you can see where I'm plugging stuff in. So if I start out, m is 1/2. My x sub 1 is that value right there. So when that gets plugged in, it's going to be -2. And the y value is -1. Now realize inside of both these, two negatives make a positive for both of these. So y plus 1 equals 1/2 x plus 2. And that's going to be your final. Now, almost every single one of the ones that you plugged in, if the equation was inaccurate, it was because there was a negative there and you didn't do the two negatives become a positive. Okay? Okay, let's look at one more. So this one says to write the equation in point slope form, but this time we're going to use -2, -2 as your point. So if you notice on this one, this line right here, you can see that that's the point you're going to use, and I'm going to find my slope just like before. So I have 2, 2, and -2, -2. I'll set this up. So -2 minus 2 is going to be -4. -2 minus 2 is going to be -4. And that's going to end up equaling 1. So your slope is 1. The point that we're going to use is -2, -2. And then we have to start to set up the equation. So here is my equation. So if I'm going to set this up, my m is going to go in here. Now that's 1. My y is -2. And my x is -2. Now just like before, we can see there are two negatives that become a positive here. So that's one piece to take care of. The other one is if I multiply something by 1, then that's not going to change the value. So really this is going to end up just being this on that side. Okay, that's the most simplified form. And then this is what you said the answer was. So you can see a couple things. We got rid of the 1 and we dealt with those negatives. So that's part of what you're going to have to look at. Okay, I'm going to unblock the section. You need to keep working on the rest of it.